Hello and welcome back to the channel. I just thought I would do a quick review of my parents' Honda CHR. I personally think these are a cracking looking car. What it is, I think it's along the lines of a Nissan Juke size, but I'm not even going to go along the lines of comparing it to a Nissan Juke because I think they are absolutely woeful. One of the worst cars I've ever had to deal with, doing a DPF pipe on a 1.5 diesel one. Terrible. But anyways, these are about the size of a Nissan Juke, and they kind of have the same kind of like back end where it's shaved down, and it's like a sort of very small SUV sized vehicle. You know, they've got the same kind of thing with the door handles up here. Not very big in the back. That's about the only downside of it. But we'll just have a quick walk around and I'll go through a few of the basic things with it. I've currently got my car next to it. I just thought I would do a comparison. I just thought I would say, like when I recommend cars and I don't recommend cars, this is my car, Mitsubishi, my parents' car, a Toyota. But again, like I mentioned, we do have a Renault for the garage car, so I'm not going to pull other cars to bits. But whenever anybody asks me what car do I recommend, you'll always get the answer Toyota, Honda, Mitsubishi, etc, etc. So I'm just proving a point here. I don't kind of tell people stuff that I wouldn't otherwise do myself. So anyways, back to the Toyota. So we had this car. This is a Toyota CHR XL. XL, it's a bit of a strange range that they have. I think the bottom of the range one is the Icon, and then I could be wrong here because I didn't focus much on the lower spec ones, and then the Design, and then you get the XL, and then you get the Dynamic. And it's a bit like these what I've spoke about with the Warrior and the Barbarian. It's a bit of a strange one to pick from. Anyways, we got this car, had it on order. When was it now? It would have been, you might want to do a check on it. I'm sure it's a 19 or a 20 plate. I'm sure it was Christmas 19 / into January 20 when we got it brand new. And the problem was, what we had was was full leather interior, as so, with the nice seats, the heated leather seats. But what you couldn't get, what we wanted at the same time, we wanted the full leather, but we also wanted these LED headlamps. I'll switch them on because it's just actually currently on side lights. I'll just put everything on so they're going. When I find the switch, there we go. What we wanted was these, because there was a review on these cars where for some reason on the XL spec where you got the leather seats, you didn't get the LED headlamps. So basically XL, you got leather seats but halogen headlights, which are absolutely rubbish. And there was a review about these which we watched and we said we definitely don't want them. Or you get what you call the Dynamic one, where you've got all the LED headlamps but you got cloth but heated leather interior. So we were on to Toyota and we says, well surely there's got to be a way you can get the design package, it's not design, sorry, Dynamic package with the LED headlamps but keep the leather interior. But there was no way of doing it. And also the Dynamic spec had this horrible blue stuff which they didn't want. They wanted the silver, and I personally think that looks better anyways. So yeah, that was kind of a bit of the problem. So we had the car on order, and my dad basically just, I think my dad come to just the terms of just saying, oh well, we're just going to have to get the one with they definitely wanted the leather seats over the headlamps. So I had it on order, the XL one, leather seats, halogen headlamps. And the dealership rang up and says, hold on. They said there's a brand new range of models coming out if we want to cancel the order, which I thought was really good of them. I think there wasn't even a great deal of extra money involved either. So what it was is they were introducing, as standard on the design spec, which this one is, was the full LED front headlamp package, which consists of, as you can see, which are bright as anything, LED indicators which turn into your running lights, LED headlamps, little LED running lights in here as well as LED front fog lights, as well as a revised, the other one, the original XL did have LED backlight, but it didn't do all of this kind of like pulsing. So this was all new to the latest model. So obviously my dad turned around and just said, yeah, well, just do that. So we changed the order. It took a little bit longer than what we wanted, but we ended off getting the full LED light package, full heated leather interior, and all the other options that you get with the XL spec. So what we did, so I'll just show you what goes on here. So obviously you've got your full LED dipped in main beam, fog lights, and they serve like some purpose of running lights as well as just lights everywhere. So there's a lot of money went into this, but I must admit these are fantastic, because I drove the original XL at night with the halogen headlights in, and they were absolutely horrendous. I mean, I'm talking like going back to the 1990s car, you know. But that's in full running mode. That's how the car drives around through the day, daytime running lights. So you've got these big strips up here, as well as the LEDs in the centre. And I would imagine, if I can reach, when you put the indicator on, that's right. So it dulls down, which is a fantastic idea. That's one thing I hate about this, is that the daylight running lights are that bright through the day. When you put your indicator on, it's barely noticeable through the day, but look at that, how bright that is at that side. And I'll tell you one thing, mind, if you get told that I didn't see you indicating, somebody's got to be blind to miss that. So obviously, as you can see, it's got the full LED light package. We'll carry on going around to the let's have a look here. I'll just switch everything off. We'll just go around to basically just around the car of what we're dealing with. So you'll notice here in the front, as part of the XL package, you get your front parking sensors, which are really nicely hidden. You can barely notice those. And this one on the side here is your parking sensor, which I can't demonstrate because I haven't got enough cars here. But that is great. The car parks itself, and I've had some good fun with that. I'm not joking you. This car can park itself into a space that you could never do, even if you tried. And really, it does work. We've tried it, obviously, under test conditions in here. So it's the hybrid model, of course, which everybody knows, the Toyota hybrids. They're fantastic. So it's not a plug-in hybrid, but it's just the type where you simply just put petrol in and go. It's got a 1.8 petrol engine with electric motors and a CVH sort of gearbox, but it's got no gears. So it's basically to drive like a go-kart. Not a go-kart. Well, I'm trying to think of something like similar to that, like an electric car. Basically, there is no gears. You just put your foot down and away you go. You know, the engine does rev high when it requires power, but the engine is just a generator. That just generates power to the battery pack to go. There's no physical connection between the engine and the wheels. So obviously, go around, it's got all the optional extras, which was the tinted glass on the XL model. It's got the LED reversing light and fog light at the bottom. I'm sure they are an extra. We'll just open the boot. Obviously, every hybrid Toyota has got the blue tinge to the badge, which lets you know it's a hybrid if you can't already read the badges. So we'll open it up. The downside of this car is it's not the biggest in the back, but let's face it, we know that. You would go out and buy a Toyota RAV4 hybrid if you wanted a bigger boot, or the Prius Plus, I think they call it. So the dealership we deal with, Hodgson Toyota at North Shields at Silverlink, they're a fantastic garage. I think they're now called Stoneacre. We've got obviously the CHR boot liner in the back. We even got a free set of summer mats as well, but the winter mats are currently in. So, there's not a great deal to see in the boot are what they are. There's quite a large, sort of cut-off area down the back for if you want to put big loads in, but that's part of the design of the car. You've got your reversing camera down here, along with your parking sensors, which again you can hardly see because they've got them blended in fantastic compared to some cars where they're up here and everything. As part, we got the chrome package on as an extra, which gets you this along the back to stop the scratches, and that bit along the bottom down there. That was an extra, and I'm sure my parents paid a lot of money extra for that. I personally wouldn't have paid it, but they just like the bit of chrome along the side of the car to go obviously along with the window line and around the sides and that. So that was the extra package that they got with it. It's got the electric folding mirrors as standard. It's got the lane descent. You can see the little symbol here. So when a car's overtaking you, it's got the blind spot area in it. So you go around, and it's also up here. It's got the camera at the top to detect the road signs. It's got radar cruise control, which is behind the Toyota badge. So if you ever do own one of these and you want to start prattling about with it, do not touch the Toyota badge, because I think that crazy money. So don't be tempted to stick some kind of stupid carbon fibre or some rubbish, not that you would, over that, because you'll stop your radar cruise control from working and probably give yourself a huge bill from Toyota to get it fixed. So we'll just come around. I'll quickly show you under the bonnet to see what we're looking at, to see what we're dealing with. You may just have to give us a second, because it's been ages since I've been under the bonnet on this. Let's have a look. There we go, it's down there. It's only difficulty trying to do this one-handed. And there we go. Do you know what it is? I think this might be the first time I've even been under the bonnet of this. So, what you've got, your standard Toyota 1.8 petrol engine, which everybody will know about. Fantastic engine, bulletproof. To be quite honest, you can forget about that. It ain't ever going to go wrong, as long as you look after it. Yeah, filter. This is, I believe, part of like the resistor pack. It's like something to do with the batteries. It's like a converter where it connects to the electric motor, which is underneath it. The batteries are under the back seat. It's got its own cooling thing in it. I'm not 100%. Oh, sorry, that'll be the inverter. It's got to be. Yeah, that'll be the inverter. Then you've got your electric motor below it, and the engine is just basically a generator which charges the batteries under the back seat. While I'm under here, obviously that's your coolant for the engine. That's your coolant for the inverter to keep it cool, because it's water cooled, obviously, so the pipes go into it because they get incredibly hot. So it's a water cooled like system. Down the back of there, I believe that is your ABS and some kind of, I could be wrong, it's some kind of like fire extinguisher system, which I've seen fitted to a lot of Mercedes and stuff because of the new gas they use in these systems. If you have a crash, I believe it does something like, if you have a crash, it sprays like a carbon monoxide or something under the bonnet to stop the fire spreading. I don't know, but I'm sure it is something to do with that. But one thing you may notice on this car, you may think, well, if it's a hybrid, why has it got a normal car battery? Well, this is a fact. This is one downside I will say to any Toyota hybrid. You've got enough power in the batteries under them back seats to probably run your house. But to start the car up, it's like any other car. You've got to rely on this battery. And these cars are a nightmare. If you leave them for more than 2 or 3 weeks, this little battery here drains. Or if you're just doing short journeys. And you'll be asking yourself, well, if the car's got enough power to run a house, how can it not start its engine? Without this little battery here, you cannot get this car started. So if you own a hybrid and you're doing round the doors driving, you make sure you keep your battery topped up, or you give it a long run once in a while, because you've got to have this little donkey battery working to be able to start it up. Stupid idea. That is the one thing I will say is a downfall to these systems. And we've had that issue with this car, a Toyota Aris, and a Toyota Yaris on top of that, because this car doesn't get used a great deal. So a big problem with them. Let's just hope Toyota get them sorted out. This is some kind of new generation version of the hybrid. There's all different ones that they've been bringing out. This, I think, is the latest edition. So basically you've got your Yaris hybrid, which uses a 1.5 petrol engine with the hybrid system. You've got these mid-sized cars which use the 1.8 petrol with the hybrid system, and then you've got your RAV4 that uses, I believe it's a 2.4 or 2.5 petrol engine with exactly the same system. My uncle's got a RAV4 hybrid, which I might try and get off him to do a review. Another fantastic car. Actually, as it happens, I think my parents are going to see how this car goes now they've got many grandchildren to look after, and they may be trading it in to get a RAV4 hybrid. So you might recognise the private plates. I got my dad these years ago on an old car that I picked up, Taz. That was the name of our dog. My dad's birthday, 25th, and the dog's birthday was 09 September, so that was a fantastic little thing I got him. But believe it or not, he's had it for God knows how many years, and it's the first time he's ever put it on a car. Pretty much the same as me. So we'll just jump inside. I'll take the key out. Hold on, I'll show you this locking system when I find what I've done with the keys. They're here, and switch the car off. So switch the car off. As long as again, this is exactly the same as the Mitsubishi, which is a fantastic idea. There's none of this rubbish with pushing keys into dashboards and pressing the start button. As long as you've got that key, which I'm going to do in my pocket, when you walk away from the car, you swipe across there and the mirrors fold in. And I haven't got somebody to help us out here, but if I stand away from the car now, it's locked, and you walk up to it and you simply just put your hand behind the door, and it unlocks it. So jump in. We'll have a quick look round the back seats, and then I'll jump in. Unfortunately, it's full of child seats, so there's not much of the interior to see. So again, it has got a very high window line. I must admit, I wouldn't want to do a long journey in the back of this car, having all that kind of area cut off. And like most hybrids, I don't know why these doors, I don't know if they've got extra batteries in them or something, but the Aris that we had previous to this was a nightmare for getting in. So as like any Japanese car, there's never a great deal of space in the back of them. You know, as you can see there, you know, it's quite cut off and dark with the dark windows. You know, it is what it is though. You buy the car, you know, and these massive seats block all the view ahead. But you buy these stylish looking cars. If you want a funky looking car, this is the kind of downside. If not, you buy some square kind of estate car without the looks. So it's all down to buyer preference of what they want. But it has got some nice kind of funky, it's like door side cards in the roof. It's that dark, you probably can't see it. It's got like textured roof, and I like that. That's a fancy kind of spoiler, and it's got the shark fin aerial for your radio. And we'll move out to the other side. Let's have a look. Again, same kind of thing, you know. Would have been nice, you know, like we did the review on the Hyundai the other day, for such a top of the range car, you know, heated rear seats. I think that's coming in to be the big sort of thing now. Oh, and I think that was part of the chrome package, these side step things, whatever they call them, scuff plates. Not 100%, but I'm sure that was part of the chrome package. As you can see, I really do like these seats. I can understand why my parents wanted the black leather on the XL over the, I don't know why, the topper model again, the Dynamic doesn't have them. So how a top of the range car can not have leather seats is beyond me, but whatever. You've got your piano black, nice stylish dashboard there. I'll move on to the driver's seat and we'll do some reviewing of the inside. So it's just your standard thing, Toyota 4 electric windows, child locks, door locks, automatic function to go for your mirrors when you lock the doors, or just a standard fold in, standard fold out, just leave it on automatic. Electric heated mirrors. We'll jump in. Oh, it's a tight squeeze because my parents are quite short in the centre of the seat. Right forward, hold on, can't even move. Right, we'll start it up. It's just a simple thing again, key in pocket. When I find the start button down here, you just press it and you're on. That's your lane descent, blind spots, them orange lights on the mirrors, and that's it, you're started. No engine, nothing. You just put your foot on the brake, put it into drive, electronic handbrake comes off, and away you move. Private land, I will say again, so just in case you see I'm driving with the phone, just using this as an example. Full, very clear, much clearer than my Mitsubishi. Reversing camera, that's almost HD, that, compared to what's in my car. Again, put it into park, handbrake comes on automatically. Nice clear dashboard. Again, you'll be noticing a big difference here if you own a petrol or a diesel car. Where's the rev counter? Well, we don't have one. What it is, like an electric car, the pointer, when you're going down a hill, if you're braking gently, like kind of like an engine brake on an HGV, like what you do is you just feather the brake pedal, or you pull the gear lever back to brake, and what it does is it regenerates power back to the battery. So if you're going down like a long gradual hill, you can probably, when it gives you your range, I've been able to claw back about 5 miles of range by just letting the engine do the engine brake, the electric motor do the engine braking, which in turn charges your battery. Because obviously it's an electric motor, it just puts itself into reverse, in the friction of going down a hill, charges it up. So it's like, you know, like a generator. And then obviously when your engine's running, the gauge does work as normal in eco mode. Then when you put your foot down to floor it, the engine on these, believe it or not, you wouldn't think a hybrid would rev its nuts off like a Honda VTEC, but these really do. So it's a little bit off-putting sometimes when you're meant to be in an eco car, and you go to overtake and you're, again, it hasn't got a rev counter to get your RPM, but it's got to be sometimes at about 6,000 or 7,000 revs. You're revving the nuts off it. So, you know, you've got to, a lot of people say bad things about these hybrids. You've got to know how to drive them properly to be able to get the best out of them. So there's the engine started up because I've just put the heating on to clear, because the windows are steaming up. So as you can hear, the engine's running. If you've just got your standard pedals like an automatic car, throttle, brake pedal, and if you rev the engine, just pressing the throttle, That's all you get. Just revs up gently. So, you know, you don't get anything moving on the rev counter. You've got your big speedo in the middle. That also becomes part of the sat-nav when you're driving. And also it's got the camera at the top, which detects your speed limits and stuff like that, and it displays up on here. And I'm going to try and get the car menu up here, because it's quite interesting to watch, actually. I'll just try and find it without info there. So there you go. So that's showing you now the main battery of the car, the main battery pack under the back seats, is about 3/4 full. So it's showing you the engine power, the engine's running, sending power to the electric motor, which is in turn sending it to the battery. If I put my foot on the throttle now and rev it, it stops it from charging. Take my foot off, back to charging. Put the car into drive, and it's showing you. Watch the front wheels. See? Sending red, which is power out to the front wheels to drive you forward. Then it's coming back again to the electric motor, because I'm braking, sending it back. Put it into reverse. Camera. Didn't think of that. Back into park. There you go, you see. So it's charging it up. You will find with these cars, if you put your air conditioning on, they will run without the engine going, because they're one of the few cars where the air conditioning pump itself has got a motor within it, to means that when you've got your air conditioning on in the summer, the engine doesn't have to keep running more than it should be. But on the other hand, the heating in the winter, like this now, because I've got the heating on, it does tend to start up a lot more, because the only way it can make power is by running the engine like a standard car. So you do tend to find in the winter your range will decrease a little bit, because the engine has to run a bit more than it has to. So we'll go around the Spec from here. So this here is fantastic. I'll do a demonstration on a quiet day where we've got two cars to use. What you do is you press that, it says for parallel parking. I'm not joking you. All you do is you just drive along two parked cars, and if it detects the gap's big enough, it'll tell you to stop. You put it into reverse, and you take your hands off the wheel, and it does all the steering. Then it tells you to put it into drive, you go forward. I'm not joking you. It would take you some doing to do a better job yourself. And I've had people criticise it, and I've told them to jump in the car without the system on, do a better job, and they can't. So it does work. But the only thing is, on a busy side street somewhere in London, with motorbikes, cyclists, mopeds, pedestrians, I would be a little bit cautious about using it. In the yard here on private land, yeah, it's a good bit of fun. So that's a nice feature to have. Oh yeah, there we go. It's in a stupid place. Heated steering wheel. Great having the heated steering wheel in the winter on these. I've said on the L200s, they're a bit over the top for a workman's pickup. But it is nice to have in a high-end car, you've got to admit. So there we go, heated steering wheel. Down there, and again, another stupid place, is hidden right down here, is your petrol cap release. And this is a good idea. This is your automatic main beam. So there you go, you see, it's telling you. So what you do is, you leave your headlamps on auto, and you push your headlamps dog back, and you leave it back. And what that does, see how it says auto on there? So what that does is a camera or some kind of wizardry up here, means when you're driving along a dark road and there's no cars in front of you, or no oncoming traffic, it activates the main beam, like a standard car. As you see, it's back to auto there. And when it detects a car, say, pulling out in front of you, so to the red lights, or if it detects a car coming towards you, it knocks them off. The minute that car's passed, or the minute, say, like the car in front of you, like, turns off or something, it puts your main beam back on. Great idea. You know what it's like when you're driving on a dark road and you're constantly main beam on, main beam off, main beam on, main beam off. That is a great idea. Even the little Toyota Yaris's and stuff have that on. Fantastic idea. So, like, again, with the stalks, you've got your automatic lights like any other car, side lights, main lights, auto, front fog lights and rear fog light. And again, you still got your normal flash function to flash somebody. I mean, if you look there, it's not even dark. If you look on that wall down there, above that, like, silver blingo in the distance, and it's still broad daylight. These lights are brilliant at night. Like, they are really premium top-end lights on this car. And again, to the wipers, you've just got your standard rain sensing wipers, front and rear wiper. You don't need us to go into that, your sensitivity of the automatic wipers. And obviously your stop-start button there. Move out the steering wheel, you've got your full Apple CarPlay, phone system, Bluetooth, you speak to it, you've got all your modes you can go through on there. These are some really good ideas with this car here. This is another reason why you want the XL or the Dynamic. You've got your full trip system in here, you know, like any other car. It's even got a flipping G sensor, you know, if you're going to go getting a hybrid car sideways on a corner, God knows. You know, you've got all your sort of you know, like look at that there, and this car goes around the doors, it never goes far. You know, it's only got, there you go, that can't be the right mileage, is it? Yeah, it's actually only got 1700 mile on the clock. I had to I thought that was 17,000. No, that shows you how this is a brand new car basically. Yeah, so 1700 miles, 1,700 miles. So this is a fantastic idea here. You've got your radar cruise control, and you've got your lane descent. Your, what do you call that? It's on me Mitsubishi, the lane control. You know, like if you stray over the white line, it beeps. And you've got your active cruise control. I'm not joking to you. This car's got active lane control, active radar cruise. So you sit in this car, and you set the distance to the car in front. And you set your maximum speed to say 70 for argument's sake. If that car does away faster than 70, you'll carry on at 70. If he slows down to an absolute dead stop, it will slow you down to a dead stop. If you come to a corner, it detects the lines and the wheel steers for you. I'm not advising this, but I am not joking you. You can drive this car and not even touch the wheel. It will keep you in your lane. It will keep you from the distance of the car in front and follow at a constant speed with the radar cruise control. It brakes for you, speeds up for you, and steers for you. I've mentioned you've got your blind spot monitoring on each mirror, so you know before you change lane if there's a car that in your blind spot. So this car, like we're talking about these autonomous vehicles coming into production and all these trucks going to be starting to have it. We're already here. This car can drive itself. You are just a dummy sitting behind the wheel. All you've got to do is keep your hand on the wheel. So on a long journey, it will drive for you. You'll have seen it with all the Teslas and stuff. This is spot on, and it's controlled down here as well. You've got you don't have to use the fancy radar cruise. You can just use your standard cruise control. So if you don't like all that kind of stuff, you can just revert back to normal, to cruise control. So we'll move forward to the center console. A nice, lovely kind of spread. I love the interior of this car. They've done a great job of it. So you've got your normal climate control, dual zone. You know, it's just like any other car. You work them, you know. Again, it's on dual at the minute, so if you turn that off, it puts them both at the same. You've got your air conditioning there, which you can't hear. Nothing. It's just a little motor runs under the bonnet. You know, your heated mirrors, heated rear screen, heated front seats, 3-stage. Nice to have. You know, like I've showed you, the all LED hazard lights with the strobe ones at the back. Full sat nav on it. I'm just gonna zoom out a bit because I'm sure when it brings you up to the sat nav, it's full. Let's just have a look here. I'm just gonna move it out of where we live, just somewhere like there for argument's sake. So you've got full touchscreen as well as these buttons, and like I said, it's got full live Toyota data on it. So you've got all the speed cameras, tells you where speed cameras are, petrol stations, shops, all the usual kind of thing. You've got your normal MP3 plug-in Apple CarPlay. You've got your DAB digital radio. I'm not going to touch it because every time I touch these things, the radio comes on, and I don't think YouTube lets you have radio on, even if it's a mistake. Obviously, all your connectivity to your phone, and even has Wi-Fi, this car. So if you're close enough to a property, you can connect to the Wi-Fi, and it does all the updates and everything. So that's just fantastic, you know. Over to the passenger side, you can see it's got them. I've only just noticed that. It's got mood lighting. See that kind of coke down there? I'm not sure if you can change it, but it's got little LEDs under there. They'll be down on the floor as well. And these mats are an option, which I think I want some of these for my L200. They're like they've got like a lip all the way around to stop, like, you know, like water getting in. They're a great idea. So we've got those. And we'll move further down. It's got all sorts of USB. It's getting dark in here. See if we can switch some lights on. We've got some USBs down there to plug in. You've got your usual big cup holders. Lovely, stylish. That's one thing with the RAV4 and the Yaris. They've got an awful old-fashioned gear, like automatic gear stick out of a flipping 1980s Toyota. It looks awful. I'm pleased to say that they do it on the Prius and the Aris. They've got a little blue thing that looks like a spaceship sort of thing instead of a gear stick. And this is the normal standard style of automatic gear stick, but just nice to look at, you know, in all different colours down there. So I'm pleased to put the effort into that, because that's one thing I hated about the hybrids, having, especially the Yaris and the RAV4, having the flipping old, outdated gear stick on a hybrid. It just looked rubbish. So that's a nice thing to have. You've got your standard electronic handbrake like in any other car, but as soon as you move the gear into drive, it just goes off automatically. You've got your traction control, which is nice to have, because some hybrids don't have that and they're a nightmare in the snow. We're not being able to turn it off. You've got your handbrake hold for when you're on a hill. And what's that? Or electric vehicle mode. So you press it, see it down there? When you press that, it allows you to drive up to 40 mile an hour in full electric mode, if depending on the battery's charge rate. So with that switched on, you could, as long as you're not going to go over 40, you can drive in full electric until the battery obviously goes flat and then the engine cuts in. So that's a good feature to have. One thing I don't like about this car, which is the Aris, which we had a 13 plate one, there was another button down here for your driving mode. So you had eco mode, power mode, and something else on it. So when you you quickly flick it into power mode, and when you had the power mode on, I'm telling you one thing, these things take off when you've got them on full power mode. They're fantastic. It puts the electric motor into full power and your engine into full power. And I'm not joking you, these things on a traffic light, like off the mark kind of thing, would beat most kind of, like, you know, performance cars. I'm a bit annoyed they've took that away. You can still access it, but you've got to go through all of this kind of rubbish to get to it, which, you know, I just think it's better to have a button, just to press it and change it. So they've took that away. That was a bit of a downfall. You can get it, but I'm not going to go through all this and show you. But there's all sorts of things in amongst this menu you can go on. And, you know, there's just loads of stuff on there. I'm not going to go that in-depth on it. You've got your automatic dip-dim mirror, which is a nice feature to have. What's that up here? Obviously your doors, your alarm. And obviously, these are these little triangles. You probably can't see. There's like triangle patterns in the roof and everything on it. So yeah, that's a review of the Honda CHR Toyota. See, I'm getting tired, I've been at work all day. So that was a quick review of a Toyota hybrid CHR Dynamic. So if you like this kind of thing, let us know. I'll get this, I can do some more reviews. I do service quite a few hybrids, and we'll do some comparisons of them. So thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. Bye.